What would you do if you were transported to another world? Become the strongest? Adventure around the world? Fight the Demon King? Or do like our MC Kanata and decide to, what's up guys, it's me, Gamer XX Hunter, coming to you all with a brand new live stream. Hope you're all doing well today, but we're going to cut the dilly-dally short and get right into the Ask Me for Advice segment. And here's our first letter. Hey, this is Akuta, a B-ranked Chad, and the other day, this fucking loser joined my party, right? And he was an absolute loser, I tell you. I mean, all he could do was use support magic, scout out enemies, repair armor, cook for us, clean for us, take care of our finances. I mean, just absolutely useless. So I kicked him out, and watching him cry was amazing. Say, Akuta, do you happen to reside in Doofusville? Or Stupid Town? Actually, I think you live in Moran City, so I just want to get this straight. You decided that kicking out the pillar of your party was a good idea. Truly, you're a genius among geniuses. So when you decide to go fight some monsters or get some bitches and you end up in deep shit, remember why. Alright, this is an advice segment. So here's some advice. Go find that man right now and be face down, ass up as you apologize. Or go and get some bitches. Psych! You can't get any bitches, so you only got one option. Anyways, next letter. Hello. I'm the son of a noble, and I'm currently engaged to a bad bitch. However, I fell in love with a thicker, badder bitch, and I'm thinking of choosing her instead. Oh, fuck you. It must be nice to be able to pick and choose what girls you want, huh? Motherfuckers like me have been wishing and dreaming upon a star to even interact with a female, you dick. Right, advice. So, what about your family, huh? Just fuck them, I guess, right? And your fiance? Just throw that whole ass relationship out the window? You see, what you need to do is to do better and be better, man. Do you not know how good you got it? I want a girlfriend so bad, but here I am, alone, with only my dick in my hand to keep me company. Anyways, we're gonna end stream here today, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Catch you tomorrow. That's right. Our MC Kanata got isekai'd and decided to stream as a hobby. This is the first of many mistakes Kanata will make. But soon, Kanata's gonna wish he picked a different hobby. But when he's not doing a soon-to-be disastrous hobby, he has to attend the greatest of places, school. And so the question now is, what cheat power did Kanata get? Well, he received unlimited power. So because of this power, he achieved rank S, which got him shipped off to the Royal Academy, where only the richest and most ignorant reside. And speaking of ignorant, here are some dimwits now. And they're not a fan of Kanata, because he's a commoner. Kanata, knowing this fact, decides the best course of action is to play possum. But unfortunately, it seems the dimwits are immune to this strategy. The professor tries to break it up, but everyone gets distracted once a beautiful and totally sane and rational young maiden named Maria Strasishu arrives. She apologizes for being late. The professor says it's no big deal. He then asks if she wants to demonstrate magic to the class, when Omega Alpha Male over here decides he's going to show up Kanata and show off to Maria to win over her heart, because yeah, that's how that works. He then spews a bunch of useless dribble, fires his magic, and hits the target. People are impressed, except the two people he was doing that for. Well, it's now Kanata's turn, and the nobles are looking smug. The professor and Maria are looking with intrigue. Kanata fires a little flame bullet, and skidoosh! The target's particles no longer exist on this plane of existence, and Kanata's like, oh, fuck. While everyone else is in awe, the professor, who's pleased with that demonstration, then tells the class that it's now time for individual training. But the students are like, we can't compete with that. Dimwit number 1 is upset. Dimwit number 2 is not far behind Dimwit number 1. When Maria calls out to the dim-witted jerk-off brothers, the two are scared shitless as she hits them with a mean-ass glare. And now they fold like some lawn chairs. Maria then starts a speech about social statuses and whatnot, but the main thing is she flicked the tree and put a giant hole through the tree. So good to know she can do that. After not listening to her rant, the dimwits say, yes, your highness. Oh right, Maria is apparently the princess to this whole entire nation, so that explains the constant fear around her. Anyways, she goes over to Kanata to compliment him. But Kanata's thinking, how the hell do I get out of this as fast as possible? Because everyone's staring at them. After that, Maria wraps up their chat with, you shouldn't provoke people even if you're angry. Kanata thinks, well, that's good for me, because I didn't start shit. But what's this? The Omega Alpha male from earlier was eavesdropping on their conversation. Kanata now back at home, and it's streaming time. Kanata then starts talking about how classism is stupid. He then receives a super chat from someone named Anonymous Princess. The super chat is about how happy they are to hear his voice. Kanata thanks the princess for dropping 40 tier 3 gifted subs. Kanata asks, "You're not gonna refund this, right?" The princess says she would never do such a thing, as she donates again with a message, and this message is a little spicy. As she says she wouldn't mind being his lover, so please let her be. Kanata thanks her for the donation and treats this as a joke and says if they ever meet, why not? Kanata would eventually come to regret these words. And guess what? Anonymous Princess was Maria, as she thinks I can't help but fall in love with him. And she seems to be having too swell of a time listening to Kanata, as she then talks about how he appeared like a comet, captivating people with his level 20 charisma, as a lot of people have been helped by his guidance, along with his bold yet objective opinions. It's like his voice is entering my mind. It's as every inch of my body has been marked by him. I don't want to just give him financial support. I want to devote myself fully to him. I want to live for him. Ever since the incident on the first day, school has become way more a pain in the ass for Kanata. It's only going to get worse than it already is, especially with him getting good grades. Kanata decides it's time to head home to stream. We then see Maria getting confessed to by the Omega Alpha male from earlier that we all forgot about. Maria informs him that her heart is already destined for someone else, that she only knows parasocially. Kanata is like, well, guess I can't go through here today. The Omega Alpha male says, is it your fiance? No, wait just a goddamn minute. You knew she was engaged and still tried it? Wow, bold strategy, I admit. Anyways, she says that's not it. She's allowed to find her own love, and there's already someone she wants to give herself to. Someone she's never spoken to, technically. The Omega Alpha male is heartbroken, and is probably going to talk shit about her on Twitter later, because she hurt his feelings. While overhearing that conversation, Kanata thinks about how Maria is just his type. Brother, I have some devastating news for you. And thinks, what good deed did her partner do to get her? Kanata then decides the long way home it is. Maria tells him that eavesdropping is deplorable and how his shadow was visible the entire time. Kanata says this is the pathway he takes to get home. Maria says it was just a joke. Shitty joke. Kanata's glad to hear that as he scampers off. Maria then thinks, I've heard this accent somewhere before. We're going to learn soon that Kanata is an imbecile. Anyways, it's time to stream, and yep. But then someone else donates 20 tier 3 gifted to Kanata with a message. Kanata says, you guys need to take care of yourself first. Maria's like, she'll be the one to provide for Gamer XX Hunter. But the message Kanata received was about if demons need to be GG'd from the world. Kanata then says, just don't be racist. We then get the backstory as to why Maria's like this. It does not make what she's doing any more acceptable. And it's because in her time of need, her butler gave her a podcast to listen to. And the advice she received from Gamer XX Hunter was slavery should be eradicated. And she was like, he's right, and I have the power to do that. And that somehow turned into this. So yeah, anyways, a war in the comments breaks out about which one of them deserves to be with Gamer XX Hunter. None of you. And Maria is not pleased with their comment and has a completely and reasonable response to these comments. And Kanata's like, okay, wait now, you got too much dip on your chip now, as he's not a fan of public quarrels. Maria does some jungle gym ass acrobatics in her mind to come to the conclusion that Gamer XX Hunter now hates her and starts breaking down. But Gamer XX Hunter says he'll forgive them as long as they understand. And Maria sure does make a face, as she then starts praising the MP3 player. Gamer XX Hunter says getting along with demons is important, and he wonders what the Demon King looks like. All the humans are like, what in the fuck? Speaking of the Demon King, this This is her, and one of her subordinates hands her an MP3 player, which says Gamer XX Hunter on it, and she's wondering, who the hell is that? Her subordinate says that listening to him is extremely popular. Demon King says, well, this could be useful for gathering information, so make something that will get the signal. The subordinate makes a better PC setup than I have, and after listening to one stream, the Demon King's like, this will help kill time. A few days later, and it's delved straight into addiction territory. Then we see the Demon King's perspective of when Gamer XX Hunter says that the war between the two species is fucking dumb, and she's so glad that there's someone of the same opinion as her. That was a few days ago, and now the present day. Anyways, we get to the part where streamer mentions wanting to see the Demon King, and she's thrilled as she heads off to the bath to freshen up to go to the human world, where she has reasonable thoughts, such as letting a man she's never met or actually interacted with rule her body. But she temporarily faints because of all the same thoughts she was having. Now awake, she puts some clothes on and hugs her cutout of Gamer XX Hunter. She then heads off to the human world now to meet with the Human King. Kanata then wakes up to hear the news that the demons have sent a non-aggression request. Kanata is still unaware that he's the reason this happened. After finishing up doing some work on his PC, Kanata heads out to enjoy the town on this wonderful day, when he hears a man shouting in the distance about how this little lady bumped into him and yada yada. He's just a scam artist and a background character. Anyway, Kanata really doesn't want to get involved, but with no guards around decides, fine. He tells the scam artist to fuck off. She only bumped into him, not stab him. The scam artist says, and who the fuck are you? Kanata responds that really doesn't matter, as he forces the scammer to let her go. And like most scammers, once they've been caught, they skedaddle off. Kanata says, well, there's now one less pest. The girl says nothing as she's thinking. Kanata asks, is anything wrong? The girl says, it's just that his voice sounds so familiar, like a genius. Kanata was using his normal voice while talking to several thousand people while trying to hide his identity. Kanata then thinks maybe she's a listener, and if she found out who he was, he could just start a romance with such a cute girl. Kanata's not the brightest bulb in the box, but it must just be a misunderstanding, so that can't be. Or the sharpest tool in the shed. Kanata tells her to head home before it happens again. The girl says it's alright. She could have dealt with him, but she might have ended him if she did. Kanata's like, you're one of those. The girl says she appreciates his kindness and thanks him. Kanata says there's no need. Helping a pretty girl like her lifts up his mood a bit anyways. The girl says, gosh, there are so many girls prettier than me though. Kanata thinks, absolutely not. That's an outrageous bar if that's the case. She then notices a bandage on his hand, one of his many mistakes, and asks what happened to it. Kanata says it's just a bit bruised, but it should be fine by tomorrow. He tells Kanata to be more careful. Kanata pats her on her head and says she's such a nice person. Kanata then yanks his hand away, apologizing, saying that doesn't count as sexual assault, right? The girl says it's fine and asks, did he think she was younger than him? Kanata says, am I wrong? The girl says she thought they were the same age as she turned 17 this year. Kanata says, well, would you look at that? We are the same age. She says it's not that big a deal, as she's used to it at this point. And while her stature is fun size, she's king sized where it counts. Kanata's brain has been flashbanged by this sudden development, as she teases him, saying she can also do things like that just fine. Kanata walks away thinking, what a personality she has. She then wishes him a farewell and to meet again one day. Kanata, don't wish for that. Kanata says, right, see ya, and be mindful of your surroundings. Kanata then remembers she had a cross on her. Was she a sister in training? Even though it does not really matter. It's now nighttime and we see a church and the girl being welcomed in by someone. And it turns out that girl is the Saintess. The sister then starts rambling to the Saintess about humans. The Saintess then says how all humans are equal and don't despise the person but the sin. She then mentions about her encounter with Kanata, and she really feels like their voices were alike, to the point where she keeps going back and forth on believing and not. The sister is down alone and she brings out a chair and pulls out an MP3 player, and I gotta get a different hobby, as she's having a hell of a time just hearing his voice. Yeah. And then Kanata shows that he can now show off his hands. Kanata will regret this decision, and The Saintess quickly realizes that the boy she met earlier was Gamer XX Hunter, and she's in disbelief. Kanata has now officially doxed himself like a dumbass. Kanata is talking about how he's finished his camera earlier this morning. He then thinks maybe he should have worn some gloves to keep his identity a secret. Dumbass. He then dismisses that thought with, nah, there's no way people would find out my identity with just my hands. Complete and utter dumbass. The two other psychopaths in chat are very concerned about his hand. The chat's asking what happened. He explains that he was a bit of a klutz and that he'll be using this camera feature more often in the future when he wants to introduce something, and the chat is just 2 hours have now passed when then Kanata received a letter from the Alpha and Omega and everything in between that says, your streams annoy me. I'm going to find you and kill you painfully. And now I will say, I've seen nukes set off smaller explosions than the one this man has unknowingly set off at his own feet. Kanata responds in kind as he thinks it's understandable people don't like him, as people just throwing money at him, as he also allegedly hides his identity. Kanata then says he shouldn't threaten people like that. He could get thrown in jail for stuff like that. He has much bigger concerns to worry about than jail, Kanata. Now, our man Kanata here did not take it seriously, but can you take a guess as to who did? It's now a few hours later, and the thieves are in shambles, as their leader is now running away thinking, what did I do to deserve this? Many things. He then thinks it's Kanata's fault, and somehow not his own fault that this is happening to him, as he proceeds to have a leg severed as a knight walks up saying how his group was not that big a deal at all. Can he just not cause so much trouble? And not cause so much trouble? As then a priest shoots him through the hand and says, please don't make this even more painful. With the demons above them saying, if he knew the humans would take care of this, he would not even bothered showing up. The thief's leader says, who are you guys? They say, we're simply believers of Gamer XX Hunter. Now perish. These lot may not be as mentally insane as their superiors, but they're still pretty insane, as Jackass here found this out in the hardest way possible. A few days later, a newspaper comes out talking about the incident. Kanata thinks he's heard that name before. Kanata then notices one of his fellow commoners drop their handkerchief and informs him of it. That commoner quickly walks away. Kanata is distressed, as even other peasant students are ignoring him, and maybe he did overdo it that one time. But the students behind him are talking about how it's a bit louder than usual today. The professor comes in and begs everyone to take a seat as he's been worn the fuck out. And he says a certain person will be joining their class temporarily, and the students are excited. And the professor starts explaining how important this person is and not to do anything rude or stupid. Now she may emerge, and Kanata is shocked, and it's the Saintess Alfana. Well, Kanata, go ahead and get used to this, because there's gonna be so many more surprises in your future. And what's our red flag counter looking like? Yeah, that seems about right. And that was the first 5 chapters of when I started streaming in another world. I ended up creating a large number of Yandere followers, or its Japanese title.
異世界で配信活動をしたら大量のヤンデレ信者を生み出してしまった件。
I do hope you enjoyed this week's video and this manga. On this week's poll, you guys really wanted a harem genre, as it boat raced every other genre on the poll. And the manga is of course the one I just aforementioned. So this manga has a little over 20 chapters and only came out about a year ago. Relatively new. You can catch up in a day or so. But as you can tell, I changed up the video format to where typically I always put, what the manga is at the beginning of the video, but I kind of want to switch it up, and I want to put it at the end, reward those who got through it, even though I can only imagine the amount of comments I'm going to see. But what's the name of the manga? It's like, God, I say it in like the first 3 sentences and you fuckers don't pick it up. I can't help you. I can't. And so if you made it to the end of it, I mean, you're going to know the name of it. I just can't wait. It's going to be so many comments. I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it so much. I'm going to let you guys deal with it if you want to deal with it. They want to know the name. Name's in the back. Watch the entire video. You get rewarded. It's just that simple. I'm not going to... Why should you be able to watch 30 seconds of a video and get what you need? No, I put effort into this, man. This shit takes longer than you would think. to do this. I want my reward. I want my compensation. Anyway, also another thing, I'm pretty sure this video is going to be longer than typical. I think this is the first 20-minute version of these. I believe. I could be completely and utter gaslighting myself right now. I have not looked at the time beforehand. All of this is a guesstimation. I don't know the length at this point. We're gonna find out together. But yeah, so I'm gonna try this. See if you guys like it. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah, if you like it. That adds up. Yeah, no, that's what help. It helps the algorithm. It helps me understand what I should do better. By the time this is going up, there's probably going to be a poll out that's asking for what type of duration do you guys want to do? Because typically, so when I typically write the scripts, they're like 1,700-ish words. This one is double that, so it took a while to do all the things I needed to do, and so I'm probably gonna put out a poll along with, I don't know if I'm gonna drop a Sunday. I'm just gonna also be asking just kind of how the length is gonna be. It's gonna be like 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, and then I'm gonna put dealer's choice, which is my choice for however long. Of course, you know, you're not always gonna get what you want to, because like if a new manga comes out and it has fucking 3 chapters, like there's no 30-minute video. It's not happening. You're just gonna have to, I don't know, kick rocks. I don't fucking know what you're gonna have to do there. Anyway, anything else? I'll probably be streaming when this goes up. You can check out the live streams. You can check out check out the live stream. Tell your friends about the channel. God, I would say I would sell out, but like I would have to have something to sell out. That's the problem. And my integrity would have to just completely and utterly appear for it to disappear in the first place. You see, there's many things that have to happen for another thing to happen. Anything else? Nah, that was about it. Well, like I said, this is test. If you enjoyed this version more than the other version, like it. It's different. If not, then don't like it. I don't know. I don't dislike it. That fucks up my whole algorithm. Just don't do anything. But that tells me nothing to. All right, when the poll comes out, that's your opportunity. That's your voice. That is democracy. We work on democracy over here. I could just be a dictatorship or a monarchy. I said, no, I'm going to let you decide. I'm going to let the people decide. Man, I've been talking too fucking long. I'm gone. My voice hurts. Peace.